members of the National Executive Committee of the Congress Coalition for Democratic Change.
So!
The National Youth League of the Popular People's Movement. Members of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Many all over the country today are speculating why I have called this press conference. The last time I spoke to the media was in September 2024, upon my return to the country to pursue my vindication through the rule of law. People then thought my comments were going to center on the witch hunt against me and other former officials of the CDC administration. Consistent with the wisdom that it is not prudent to discuss matters pending before the judiciary, I addressed many different issues during that interview. At today's press conference, I will do the same. So those speculating that I'm about to speak on my case are dead wrong. I will, however, say in passing that despite the evident delayed gimmicks from the prosecution and the state, we will prevail in what is a clear example of national security expenditure that is amply protected by Liberian law. We look up to the judiciary for guidance in concluding that matter. So this press conference will center instead on the political factors, the lies, the hate, the envy, the propaganda, the dishonesty, and the shenanigans that aim to destroy innocent individuals in the public space for political motives. The question today we will ask is, why would people in our society, in our government, in our political parties, in our media, in our religious institutions know the honest truth or aspects of this truth, but we refuse to say anything when blatant falsifications are being hashed by malicious individuals to destroy innocent people? Why do those who know the truth on matters become willing accomplices to destroy others by their dangerous silence? Today, I will demonstrate how this evil information manipulation was deployed and weaponized against the administration of the CDC, and how people are intending to sustain this culture of lies to destroy people in our politics. Those of us who have been caught in the crosshairs of these machinations will fight back with every means at our disposal, intellectually, politically, and of course, legally. This will not be and should not be how we conduct our politics. We cannot fight corruption by lying on innocent people. Those who are determined to sustain this culture of lies and dishonesty in our politics and society must be fiercely resisted and fought so that we arrive at a more honest national discourse and will focus on the serious issues affecting our people. Today's conference is about initiating that fight. It is about demonstrating how targeting Samuel Tweah and keeping his name in the public, even when he has done nothing wrong, appears to be the goal of some individuals in our politics and in our media. One of these individuals is Mr. Stanton Witherspoon. Mr. Witherspoon has used his phone network to malign my person and spew out misinformation concerning me for more than 4 years while I was Minister of Finance. Even out of power, he continues to pursue me. Although Mr. Witherspoon faces several lawsuits for libel, he does not seem deterred in maligning innocent people, aiming to destroy their reputation. In the last 6 years, I have treated these machinations as coming with the political territory, offering public clarifications or denunciations. I have always believed a public official should be willing to withstand public scrutiny, but malicious attempts to demean and damage the reputation of an individual is a far cry from public scrutiny. Clearly, these lawsuits have evidently not deterred Mr. Witherspoon and those of his ilk. Today, I'm exposing a conspiracy by Mr. Witherspoon and others to get Samuel Tweah involved in some fake, false 30 million COVID-19 scandal, for which Mr. Witherspoon said on his network on last Thursday, June 26, 2029, that, quote, I will be arrested. Samuel Tweah will be arrested by government. I have here the video footage of Mr. Witherspoon's comments and will play it before taking questions. More than 100,000 Liberians must have heard this malicious garbage. Several persons have since called me to ascertain the veracity of this injurious rant against my person. And since people are actually having conversations about, quote unquote, my pending arrest, with some urging me to change my sleeping location. All of this for something not only that I really don't know, for no wrong I have committed. Let it be clear that if the government is investigating the COVID-19 World Food Program food distribution, it is the World Food Program that will be under investigation and not former Minister Samuel Tweah Jr. I believe publicly demonstrating the abject falsity and bogosity of these Witherspoon-inspired rumors concerning a supposedly 30 million COVID scandal, the public will appreciate the extent and scope of the conspiracy against me and may begin to ask why am I the target of so many in our politics. I will present here publicly available reports on the 30 million, saying which institution was giving this money, where the money came from, how much of this was spent, and how much was left over. I will also show that the current UP administration has authorized the use of the balance of this money, for which, according to Mr. Stanton, I should be or would be arrested. In 2010, let's present the facts to the public and commence the destruction of these evil rumors. In 2020, the government of Liberia, through the national legislature, worked with the International Monetary Fund to secure 25 million loan to support what was called the COVID-19 Household Food Support Program. This program was about giving food to Liberian households during COVID-19. As part of the arrangement, the government and the IMF agreed that the money should be deposited directly into the bank account of the World Food Program, which, according to the government and the IMF, have the best expertise and experience to distribute food on a global and national scale. I was very happy with this arrangement because it meant no Liberian government institution would be accused of, quote, stealing 25 million, since it will be the World Food Program that will be accounting for the 25 million. I was happy that another 25 million lie will be avoided. You don't know the 25 million mark of lie, don't you? But as we all can see now, my happiness was futile and short-lived because I am today here talking about 25 million that was directly deposited and spent by the World Food Program. Long story short, the Ministry of Finance, under my leadership, received 25 million from the IMF through the government revenue account and transferred this sum in its entirety to the bank account of the World Food Program. I don't think that money stayed a full day at the Ministry of Finance when it came. It was transferred immediately. Also, the World Food Program received $5 million from the World Bank through the Smallholders Agriculture Transformation Agribusiness Revitalization Project, STARP. This $5 million was released directly by the World Bank as monies for donors donor partners such as the World Bank do not go to the government revenue account. Based on the final report of the project, which I will show you a copy of that, the World Food Program received a total of 30 million from two different sources: the Ministry of Finance, under my leadership, and the World Bank and the Ministry of Agriculture. In July of 2022, the World Food Program reported that it spent 23.838 million and had a balance of 1.17 million to transfer back to the government through the MFDP. The World Food similarly had the amount of 857,000, these are US dollars, to be returned to the World Bank directly. In total, they had a little over $2 million of unspent COVID-19 food distribution money. So in other words, they probably spent a little less than $28 million. Up to the time the CDC administration left office, the World Food Program had not returned this money. Thanks to Deputy Minister Augustus Flomo and his hard-working team, we left a turnover note with recommendations for the incoming administration. I have the entire copy of our turnover note from the Department of Economic Management, which deals with matters of donor funding. But specifically, we have printed out the section on the recommendation that was left with incoming Finance Minister Muhammad Kamara and the UP administration. But it gets more interesting. I have a letter dated March 2025 from Finance Minister Augustine Tweah requesting results to expect of the $234,350 or 20% of the unutilized COVID-19 food distribution money he had previously approved for expenditure on school feeding as requested by the World Food Program. An earlier letter from Minister Gafwa in September 2021 reads his denial of a request from the country director of the World Food Program to use 500,000 of the unused funds for school feeding. I have also a May 23 letter a May 2023 letter from former country director of World Food Program, Mr. Aliu Diongu, requesting my approval for said reallocation. Mr. Aliu personally visited me, and I told him then I was not in the position to grant such an approval. We had a good conversation. Yeah. But let's imagine Minister Gafwan has approved the reallocation, and it is Minister Tweah who is now being rumored to be arrested. Imagine if Samuel Tweah had approved and given the money to Aliu. They would have said Samuel Tweah used World Food Program money for CDC campaign, and maybe I might have been arrested already. So the group members of the press, these are facts on the COVID-19 30 million. Why did Mr. Witherspoon put my name out there for 30 million? Mr. Witherspoon claims to have received this information from government sources, quote unquote. I don't care about Mr. Witherspoon and his sources. I care that Liberians have falsely been made to believe I'm illegally connected to some $30 million, for which the government is purportedly seeking my arrest as part of its dragnet on former CDC officials. I have consulted my team of lawyers who believe there are substantial merits in libel lawsuit against Mr. Witherspoon pertaining to this defamation. I've instructed my lawyers to file this suit early next week. This will be the legal battle. Today, I will spend some time discussing this and other lies and how these lies have been weaponized against individuals in the CDC administration. I thank you. I will now play the video footage and we'll take your questions on these after that and other developments.
Amanda, where do?
We'll play you the photo so you pay attention. We're beginning the legal battle. We'll do legal, political, and intellectual battle in this country to save our reputation. All right. So,
reactionary tendency.
Abbas.
Reactionary tendency.
Abbas.
Misinformation.
Abbas.
Propaganda.
Abbas.
Propaganda.
Abbas.
Propaganda.
Abbas.
Propaganda.
Abbas.
Propaganda.
Abbas.
Yo. Misinformation. Yo.
Yo.
Amanda.
Way to.
Away to.
Amanda.
Evidence coming outside. Yo. Yo. Another document. Yo.
This is the section of the Ministry of Finance, our government's recommendation to the incoming government on what to do with the COVID-19 money. This is prepared by Minister Vasa Flomo. Council says, contact the World Food Program for the balance COVID 2019 funds to agree on the deployment of remaining funds to support food production. So the remaining funds did not come to President Weah's government. So nobody can prosecute any official in the President Weah government for COVID-19. The evidence I will share with that one with you.
Manda!
Where to? Manda! This is Minister Gafwan's letter denying the 500,000 request from COVID in September last year. They had asked the minister, the same way they asked me for the balance money, he had denied first. So that's the letter. This is another letter approving, Mr. Gafwan subsequently apparently approved 234,000, and he's writing Minister Nuta for results. What do we expect from this money? So he denied first, he approved subsequently, but he's writing to find out what are they doing with the money and what are the impact. He only approved probably 20% of it, so that's 234.
Yo,
Very good job. I'd like to know. The minister did. This is a legitimate function the minister is performing. I could have approved it, but I decided not to because there was a new administration coming. He can approve it through what it, but let the facts say what they are. You cannot be talking and casting in the corner about arresting Samuel Tweah when the very government that should be arresting him for this money, approving the money and doing something with the money.
Yo, government approving, doing something with the money. Yo.
So basically, yeah, I will share. We have all the reports on. We have the reports on email and WhatsApp. We'll share with you the final copy of the July 2022 World Food Program report. We'll share with you Mr. Flomo's turnover note to me, for me, and then for the new government. We'll share with you all of these so that it's clear in the life. You see, we're not going to, the people lie on the CDC administration so much and want their way to political power. And they think they can get away with it. So we just lie and say anything, 25 million, 16 billion, we just lie, people die. I mean, they try, men like me, people trying to say I can kill human beings. I mean, can you imagine all the people who know me, men like me, people look at me and say I can kill. Some people, so because of that, some people look at my profile in the public and say, you know, they don't know, because they don't know me personally. They just see why it's all the vengeance against this woman. Maybe you hear something, even my chief of staff just died. And people have the audacity to even believe that I can kill Cletus Noah. That's how evil this country has become. And the politics have become destructive. So those of us who are there, we have thick skin. Me, I have very thick skin. I was born for political battle. Don't get me wrong. This is my field. Yo! Very little moves me. I have no fear for any man, and with no other man, because I think what one man does, I'm able to do, so I don't have to envy him. But there is a limit to what a man can take, especially if you have 6 children who are growing up. And when somebody consistently tries to pick on your father, I say, well, what is this man doing? Why would you? I mean, people called me and said, 10 million again? Well, what is that? What you did with this money? What happened? I said, they come here arrest you for 10 million. My sister in New York calling me. I said, 10 million? I didn't do anything with 10 million. 10 million is with the World Food Program. The other tragedy about this is that the World Food Program hears this gossip. People in the Ministry of Finance know that the minister is writing letters using the money currently. They sit on school and hear all this garbage, and nobody has the audacity to say, hey, stop this. Mr. Gafan approved this money just this March. Why are you talking about Samuel Tweah and this money? That's why I say, what kind of society we live in today? When people in our political parties, in our churches, in our media institutions, in our government know the honest truth. When the people who are writing the letter to Mr. Gafan know and they're not able to call school and say, you are lying, I just drafted a letter for this money. It's not Samuel Tweah. Why do we do this? So that's the conversation we're going to have today. You're going to media people. And particularly you media people. What is your standard for verifying information? It's an honest conversation. President, we have signed the Table Mountain Law, no, it's not Table, the Abla Kamara, that gave you guys the right to say many things, but there is a limit to which you can libel somebody. So Mr. Stanton Witherspoon will have to tell us in court who told him that I took 30 million, and which government is coming to arrest him for 30 million, for which he has now made, and through me now, through everything, and maybe they will. 22 million Liberians are here for 30 million, and my name is in there. So it is only the vindication through court. I will compare Mr. Wilson to say something and repent so that the public knows that the journalists or the commentators on social media have a responsibility to truth in our democracy. We want to fight corruption, we want to transform the country, but we should do so honestly. We cannot destroy other people in our process. Right? The falsification that goes on spoon has to be challenged. Just the other night, the man played my Amutoken song. Oh, Amutoken, oh. He's playing the Amutoken song and saying that that song was because of President Weah's visit to President Biden. Oh, I sang that song when Liberia passed the MCC scorecard. That's why I sang that song. I said we qualify. The 500 million that should have come to this country, I was celebrating for my country. That this government was inheriting. That eventually it may happen 4 or 5 years from now. It was that song. So when you hear that song in the public entrance school place it, link it with the 500 million that will come at some point in the future. That's the celebration I was doing. You mischaracterize that and put it in the form of. So it's a propaganda outfit. It's unfair. They do valuable work. Many of the panelists, I have friends on the show, I think they will morally do the public right if they have to objectively raise the standard of their truth telling. If they are not sure about something, then they need to verify before bringing it out. So when we go to court, my lawyers have told me, I think my case will meet the strongest test of libel. So we're going to fight that legal battle with Mr. Witherspoon. It's not this, I'm not attacking the spoon now, I'm attacking Mr. Witherspoon. He has an agenda personally for 4 years, consistently impugning my reputation in the public when he has no basis for doing so. Thank you. I'll take your questions.
So at this time, Congress, the questions and answer period will be very, very, very rigid. Call the names of the institutions that you're representing, call your name as well, and then go straightly to what has been read and said here. Anything outside of that? Yeah, the first question here. Yeah, please, you are only asked, you are allowed to ask a question, just a question. Because of time, the number of people here will ask questions.
Yeah?
Yes, brother.
I'm Obadiah Johnson, I report for Front Page Africa newspaper. Good afternoon, Mr. Tweah. You served as Liberia's finance minister at the time the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank respectfully contributed the amount of $25 million United States dollars and $5 million each to Liberia and its citizens for COVID-19 stimulus package. Don't you think it's prudent enough that you submit yourself to any pending investigation, since in fact you actually headed the country's finance ministry at the time? And what do you think your name is actually linked or implicated in this? What do you think? Don't you think it's prudent that you submit instead of crying wolf at this time? Thank you.
Yes, sir. My name is Matthias Labindi. I'm from Sky Communications, Liberia. Mr. Tweah, thank you for your presentation. Do you trust the court system in Liberia, the judicial system in Liberia, under the workers' administration, which you are going to use to vindicate yourself? In which court are you going to file a lawsuit against Stanton Witherspoon, Liberia or in the US, since it's now residing in Liberia?
Next question.
So thank you. My name is Hagar Gonda and I report for Freedom FM. Honorable Minister, former Minister, I should say, I'm interested in knowing all of what you've said and considering the efforts of the government in going after some past government officials. Why do you think all of these things are happening? Because there are speculations in the public that the government is apparently not seeing a way through, and as such, they want to play some tactics by bringing on, coming on some former officials of the CDC administration. Why do you think you are always in the news for these kind of allegations?
Next question.
Okay, I'm Sam. I report for the National Radio and Television. I'm concerned about the silence of the war food program. Since you, in fact, you said the money is directly with the war food program, why is it they haven't broken silence over this issue?
So thank you. So we'll close the first chapter and then.
Thank you. These are very good questions. That's why I'm here. Would you submit yourself to, listen, I'm a patriotic, law-abiding citizen. I will submit myself to any investigation, legitimate or bogus. Let's get it clear. Any legitimate or bogus investigation, I respond, because as a citizen, you have to respect the authority. If the police came for you, you can't put water in the face and slap them, even if I came up. I could be sleeping in my house and police say I didn't sleep in my house, I did something that they come for me, I'll go to the station. That's not the question. So, I'm just giving the public that there is no basis for involving Samuel Tweah in anything like this. So let's say the government has seen the 25 million report, which I share with you, from the money, about the money we gave them. And let's say people in the government are not satisfied. Who do you think is the first person that you want to contact? You have to contact the World Food Program, because one of the reasons why we gave the money to the World Food Program was that we did not want another situation where we were politicizing. If we want to politicize it, let's go and politicize it with the World Food Program. Because the World Food Program who received that money, no Liberian official has access to World Food Program's bank accounts. They control the expenditure. There was a National Steering Committee chaired by Minister Wilson Tape. I was only Minister of Agriculture only. They were just administering, steering. They were not involving operational matters. So we're receiving all of these reports. The purchasing of rice, the distribution of rice were left solely with the World Food Program, because they have the global expertise and the experience to do that work. So if there is a problem with the spent portion, two portions now, spent nearly 28 million, unspent 2 million. If we have a problem with the 28 million that was spent by the World Food Program, then it's prudent that the government investigate. But as I know right now, there is no asset to recover from the 30 million, because the World Food Program has reported that it spent every time legitimately has given a report to the government. The government has not challenged that report, except it is trying to do so. But if it's trying to do so and launch an investigation, the investigation will begin with the World Food Program. If you ask me in that investigation, Mr. Tweah, what do you know about the 25 million? This is what I'm saying now to the public. I know that we agree with the IMF that I will put the money in the World Food Program account. The 5 million will come from the World Bank. We don't control World Bank finance. The ministers of finance don't control monies that leave World Bank account. World Bank project money goes directly from World Bank to directly from World Bank to the World Food Program, and it goes to the World Bank to other recipients of World Bank. We don't sign on this. There is a framework at the Ministry of Finance, but the ministers are not involved in that distribution. So that's what I can say on the 25. Broadly on the 5, but there is an unspent portion. Maybe there was this rumor, and I'm telling you, somebody even told me that maybe I received this $2 million and gave World Food Program 300,000 of it. So those are the rumors that are circulating. Or maybe they may receive the $2 million anyway and get Brown World Food Program with 300. So the person who asked the question, why, and I will link that question, why is World Food Program silent? I think that's the best question here for today. That's the best question. Why is the World Food Program silent? The World Food Program should issue a statement. The public is not informed about, maybe they're going to issue a statement because I've had the press conference. That's why I came here. And so this whole thing is there because the World Food Program is not going to take ownership. Wait, listen. Are you saying that we stole the 28 million? Is the government trying to attack us? Is the asset recovery trying to impugn our reputation? That's what World Food Program and asset recovery. Now, I don't, listen, let's be careful. I have not been invited by the government. Let's be clear. The government has not written me. The government has not contacted me. I have heard this through Stanton Witherspoon. So let's be clear. I am not accusing the government. Through Stanton Witherspoon, I heard I will be arrested. It will be up to Mr. Witherspoon who told him that Samuel Tweah was on the investigation and will be arrested. That's where he will explain that in court. And he will meet his sources. But I don't think I have a force with the government now because no letter has been written. Maybe the government knows why. But while all of that, people are speculating on this and destroying my reputation. My sister and family people are calling me. So this is why I have to put stop to this. The other question was, do you trust the court system? Let me say one thing. If you ask me this question before our war, I'll tell you no. Because we had a Liberia where we had a country governed by men, the will of men. We never had a democracy. There was no auditing, or auditing was manipulated by the government. Anyway, there was no accountability, there was no transparency before the war. If you ask me the question, I will say no. If you ask me the question now, since Madam Salif Not sure our democracy took it to a level. Dr. George Weah took it to a new zenith. Those two presidents combined protected the rule of law and nurtured our democracy, such that I believe that I am not afraid of the imperial presidency, because what judges and courts have seen, we have a democracy where even the judge has an independence that is unprecedented in this country, and the president can do nothing about that. In the 1980s and 1970s, President Wotoba will call you and put you in jail. President Doe will send for the judge and say, you do like that, we'll kill you. Today, no president can harass any judge. Judges are at the crucible of our transformation today. And so I trust the judicial system because of this fact. Had I not trusted the judicial system, I would not have come from Ivory Coast to face trial. Because I believe, you know what made me brave? To walk knowing people wanted to arrest me is the fact that I believe the rule of law is prevailing. And that while there were those who wanted to arrest me, there were equally those in the Unity Party who knew that an arrest of me would be unjust. And so there would be some tension. That tension will never exist in the 1980s before the war. And so I said, I'm coming under the jurisdiction of the court. I'm not fleeing justice. I'm coming for justice. You cannot be arresting me when I come for justice. And so on the basis of that, on the basis of my trust of the judicial system, I entered the country and I went and submitted myself to criminal proceeding, and I remain under the judiciary. If any government official, this government wants to manufacture any bogus charge and believe that they just want to arrest me, maybe what I need to do is just buy one handcuff and just kind of today I should put a handcuff on me, let them get that picture and put it in the internet and let something to because maybe that's what they want. So just put me in handcuff and say we carry in jail. They are able to do so. I'm not afraid of going to jail. I'm afraid of going to jail for the wrong reason. I will leverage my ability to go to jail anytime for the right reason. If you lie on me and I prove and the public believe, I will sleep in jail. So I'm not afraid of jail. I trust the judicial system. That's your question. That's your answer. Why government, which one? Well, I mean, that's the same thing we're talking about. I mean, President Weah took office, one of the things people say, oh, well, the country is fragile. The challenges of the Liberian people are massive. This government can solve the challenges of the people. I'm not laughing. One of the things we need to do in our politics now is to say, listen, let's be honest and let's level with the Liberian people. What problems are we able to solve and what problems are we not able to solve? The most people call me and they say, Tweah, why are we having debates about, why is our debate about salary payment? I find it troubling, Tweah. Most of the discussion are about trivial things in the country. I say the reason that is because the politicians do not want to be honest with the Liberian people. So when government salary delay 5 days, we politicize it. General says, look, salary will delay because of many different reasons. Revenue is not in the government account. But when we politicize all these things to move one party from power, the party that left from power will politicize the same thing. We are fighting over road. This government, our government, secure all financing of all road networks in the country. Major road networks. I signed under President Weah a 10-year electricity financing. 10 years for the World Bank. So that means, forget about President Waga. The financing for the president who will be elected 2029, I signed it. It's a 10-year financing. I signed it. So that guaranteed 10 years of financing. So 6 years, 10 minus 6 are how many years? So the next president will enjoy 4 years. So don't worry about this rescue. The next president will take President Weah. If President Weah will take himself. The point I'm making is that let's leave the trivial politics. The fundamental question that bring on now is that Liberians, why we don't have jobs? Liberians, why our budget is 650 million and it's not 1 billion? Sierra Leone budget is 1.5 billion. Cote d'Ivoire budget is 27 billion. Ghana budget is 20 billion. Why is it that Liberia's budget just hangs around 600. And let me tell you that, when we say 800 million, the partners bringing 150 there. The raw domestic, the money yourself bringing here, that's 650, 675. That's it. That's the problem. So if every politician will be fighting in this, so listen, go listen to Senator Duncan. The Senator of South County is raising an interesting debate in the country that we all need to pay for to. He's saying, if we want to down 600, government salary right now, the government's wage bill right now is bloated. The government wage bill is exploding beyond almost $340 million in the government. When you take $350 million from 600, what is left there? The debt you owe in all international people plus domestic, CBL debt, I may get away, in fact, I'm telling you, CBL get away. As soon as your money comes, whether you get negative, they can CBL take it. When the money go there, because so CBL will ask Minister of Finance where to take the money. Because in agreement with the IMF, all money will go to the bank, they have to be paid on time. There's no delay. So you pay the CBL, you pay your debt, you pay the World Bank. You need around 100, 125 million every year for that. Okay, you're talking about 675. Then the government running itself, you need what? If you get the government 100 million, the government will bring it because 100 million is small to run the government. So what you do? You start talking about electricity rules here. What you do? So everybody killing themselves around the 650 million, and we think we're doing something here. The president should reach out to the former president and say, my man, listen, I know we have a spy, but maybe he's leading that direction because I see him going towards the reconciliation of the past. Maybe he will come to the reconciliation of the present. So it's a face process. He's dealing with the past, and he's right. Let's deal with talk. These are overhanging issues. He's saying, we are sitting down with me. Everybody here, we deal with the reconciliation. And reconciling him means when people do wrong, you shouldn't go after them. No. He said, my man, under your government, you did it wrong. I'll prosecute it. But my man, you did this booty on the government. Let's continue to move the country forward. Let's forget our past. Let's forget our bitterness. You were president, I'm president. So maybe the president has an agenda for the now. I will not speak for him. Well, that politics of witch hunt is not going to get the country anywhere. Because what Liberians have seen, let me tell you, one of the reasons why we lost this election is that when Liberians who there's a fraction of Liberians. I mean, 17,000 separating the two parties is negative. You can see that the country is split evenly. But the stubborn Liberians who were made to believe and lied to that we took NGO jobs away, that it was because of President William that the economy was declining. I don't care you gave them $50 million. They wanted this experiment to see what would happen after if George Weah were not president. They made a difference for the Unity Party. They are the most frustrated and the most disappointed now because they know deception took them away from the reality. Yes. So that is what we have to deal with now. So,
Let's thank you. Let's now come up before the next question. Let me quickly recognize the global chairman. Thank you. So, we are pleased to announce the presence, the arrival of the chairman of the Indemnitable Market Coalition for Democratic Change. So at this time, again, we come to the second batch. Yeah, please don't be repetitious. Second batch. Yeah. Thank you. What now do information coming out?
I'm not waiting for the question. You see, and that's the question that people are saying. We said all these things. We fought. We fought. We provided everything we are saying today. You go back to all my clips. You can play all my clips for the last 6 years. You will hear the same argument I'm making throughout. And when people went online, the way to power, they will ignore any reality in the construction. People You think harmonization, you think our Minister of Finance, you think President Obiya, you think we take pleasure in fixing a broken wage system at our own detriment? You think so? Well, we are faced with the reality that if you don't do so, Mr. President, your government has a lifespan of 2020. All the partners who brought money here before 2018 took their hands up and said, well, the time is now for you to take care of yourself now. We've been taking care of you. Not you. Mr. Minister, that wage over there, European Union, American tax dollars should not be going to finance one person making, one nurse making, or one director making $200 Ministry of Agriculture, and a same director with the same skill making $2,000 somewhere. That's a waste of our money. If you cannot end this unfairness, you have a problem in getting to the national security. And you're talking about 2019. And so, what point does the president have? The president has to fix the country. Fixing the country is not a palatable thing. It's a hard choice. Like, Liberians don't know it, they just want the result. So we have to confront the reality, and you see, the propaganda about harmonization is that harmonization was not about increasing or about decreasing salary, no. And listen, I'm telling you again, because you will come by and ask this question 2 years, I'm telling you, they will tell you what I'm telling you harmonization, there were two systems. There's a basic salary system, and there was a general allowance system. 40,000 to 47,000 Liberians were paid under a basic allowance. 25,000 Liberians. The other thing, they told you, said the wage bill, when we came to power, there were around 67,000 Liberians on the payroll. That's the other lie they told you. They told you, so we added 25,000 persons on the payroll. We clarified all those things. People still didn't hear it. Right? So there were 67,000 persons on the payroll again. 25,000 of them were getting paid on general allowance. What is the general allowance system? Samuel Tweah today hired his brother and paid his driver $2,000. No system. The way, as I feel, I give it to you. You call your own salary. I said that before. You call your own. I'm going to pay you. I'm going to give me $3,000. The general allowance system pays you. Whereas the people on basic allowance salary, they're averaging $200, $300 they're making. It was unfair. We were confronted with this statistics, and we took the tough decision. And no government, not just this government, the next 50 years, the government of Ghana cannot reverse it.
When you reverse the harmonization,
you cannot, because under harmonization, the judiciary is now paying taxes. You know, I love the judiciary, I love the judges, but they always argue with me, you know, we don't have anything, Minister. I said, but even in America, Governor, the judges pay taxes in America. Why should judges, or why should people in the judiciary? So there were no taxes. So if you're reversing harmonization, you will make sure the judiciary does not pay taxes. Let's ask Mr. Gafon when you see him in the next whether he will make sure the judiciary will not pay taxes. If he does that, then you know you reverse harmonization. So you cannot reverse. So it's not even a debate, it's not even a discussion. The things President Weah did for this country. Look, I'll tell you one story. The other day, Timothy George, the boy on closing argument, called me and said, oh, Defamation. I saw Senator McCullough, he was pressing you. Senator McCullough is the chairman of the House Committee, the Human Rights Committee, people who do the human rights thing. He said, I saw him going to a cookout. He said, you met your father minister, a brilliant guy. And then I told me, I said, yes. You know what I may remember me? You remember me because the men were bombarding me with propaganda. The congressmen were bombarding. We had a 15-minute Zoom call. He started telling me, he said, well, your President Weah wanted to run for life, so he changed the Constitution. He did the referendum so that he could run for 5, but then he was going to make sure he run for 12 years, so he would run for 12 to 5 terms plus a 6 year, and that's a whole design. That's what we've been told. I said, what? I told Senator McCullough, that's propaganda, that's a lie. This is the only president who wants to have his first term will be 6 years, because laws are not retroactive, but when the referendum is passed, his second term will be 5 years. So he will serve for 11 years, and that's why he intended. He said, but that's not what we've been told. I've been seeing all kinds of damaging reports. That's not what they say here. You know what Anthony said? You got to come to Washington every week. So I told Timothy George, I said, that's why he remembers me. Because I was there fighting. Yeah. but they're fighting. The other problem they brought the auditors there. I mean, all the lie. That's how Koji got censured. Koji is harmless. Jefferson Koji. I've known him from baby. He do no harm. But today, Koji is on the human rights sanction. The human rights sanction is not like even the corruption sanction. When American put out a sanction, the human rights came from Russia. I mean, but the Russian abuse is the most dangerous sanction. You put Jefferson Koji on the human rights version of that sanction, they would have fight and get him out of it. So what happened was that there was a barrage of propaganda every day confronting all U.S. government. And we were sitting here, I was sitting here dealing with harmonization and focus the economy of economy. I've kidding myself with IMF. The guys are burying us on the side. By the time we went there to fight the minister, damn it's been here. So the damage we live in some of us believe, but we come to it. We're made for this battle. We're made. Even the Americans know the extent to which people lie on us here. They know the reality. They're seeing it now. So the question there is, what is fundamentally wrong with Nigeria? Because we see some good things on the CDC. They will celebrate the MCC 500 million, but they don't want to praise the government that brought it. What kind of contradiction is that? How can you be celebrating again, but you don't want to thank the man who worked for you? And you say the man government was bad. No bad governance succeeds under the MCC program. Simple. That's why I was saying that song that day. We're still going to war. We're still going to
As we speak, there are divided opinions in the country. At the moment, ex-officials of government have been accused on several counts, including you, direct report. Some of them are put behind bar as well. Nigerians are divided. Some people think that this is a straight fight against corruption by this administration, while others see it as a witch hunt. There are others who are equally blaming this administration for not prosecuting past officials of government when this government took it. Do you think it was a missed opportunity on the part of the CDC government to rigorously prosecute ex-officials of government? And then the final question is, what will you do differently if you were to assume that position again as finance minister of the office?
Let me answer the first question about prosecuting. The greatest contribution of President Weah, I will argue, in the 6 years, I will not say is rules. I will not say a free tuition. President Weah's greatest contribution is the establishment of an LSCC that should independently go after the evidence that is vested with prosecutorial powers. For the first 12 years under President Sie-A-Nyeneh, LSCC was a toothless bulldog. They could not move. Who empowered, who institutionalized, who changed the law and made gave LSCC's powers to such an extent that the President of the Republic of Liberia cannot singularly dismiss the head of LSCC. He has to seek concurrence from the national legislature, the Senate. Who wrote that law? George Weah. So if you think George Weah was afraid of fighting corruption, he would not have strengthened the LSCC the way he did. What we want in the country is not witch hunt, it's to go at the evidence. When you present the evidence that shows somebody does wrong and they steal government money, they go to jail. When you manufacture it, like the way I'm describing, you come in to go in jail for COVID-19 money that you didn't spend, Samuel Tweah will win that case. You will get some appreciation from going to arrest Samuel Tweah. But sooner rather than later, the majority of the people will soon know that you went after Samuel Tweah for the wrong reason, so your fight was bogus. So we need authentic fight against corruption. As a Minister of Finance, you coming after me, you gotta be prepared. I say that for all ministers of finance. I say that for Gaffer, I say that for Amara. Because ministers of finance are not spending ministers. They are appropriating ministers. That's why that's a difficult thing. I gave the national elections 4 million more than they needed because of the national emergency. You can't put me in jail because I gave them 4 million, or you go ask them the 4 million, Tweah Jr, that will have a budget, then you use it for election or then you eat it. And they told you say they use it for election, then you can arrest Tweah, say Tweah gave them 4 million money in the budget. They are the accounting entity. That's it. So these 5 people look at it and say, people are fishing. People are fishing. We're fishing. I don't want to, I will not talk about the case before the justices, I told you. But there's a fishing expectation on the national security front. It's all fishing. I will tell you, if the government has a legitimate case of corruption or any of our officials who embezzle public money, that official should go and put the money back. President Weah will support that, and when he comes back to power, we'll take the fight against corruption to the next level. But it's not going to be on the basis of wisdom. It's not going to be on the basis of scoring political points that you arrest certain number of individuals so you have succeeded, whereas corruption is even more massive in the current administration. So you can do that. And the former finance minister you're talking. I know. You fight finance minister, you can. I know everything about the state. I'm a member of the National Security Council. That's an important state secrets. I can tell you, President Baka, right now, I can tell you, if I open my mouth here, but I will not do that. I'm sure those secret things.
Last question.
My name is Monet. Okay, so my question is, if this COVID-19 money you are talking about, was there a full audit on the if so where and when is the report?
Was there a full audit?
Yeah, on the
I don't. Okay, the COVID-19 report, COVID 2020, right? So we gave the money, and then 2022 July, they brought the money. I don't believe the report has been audited. So we have to. The GSC, current finance minister, the government have to find a way to audit. One of the challenges is we have. You see, that other thing with even the legislators, people accuse. This was one of the poorest institutions. It was so struggling. Money for census does not go to legislators. It goes to the what do you call it? The Central Basket Fund under UNFP. UNFP is the one receiving all the census money. So where will legislators officials come from to take census money? When the Minister of Finance, everybody put name under the UNFP, we didn't get access to the account. So if you say we take legislators money, then it means that the UNFP and the UN people give it to us. Because they are the ones who withdraw their money. How come? So people have to, our Liberian people have to understand these things. If somebody is accusing people of corruption, you have to know, okay, what kind of system you're accusing the man of? There's a bank account. Who are the signatory? Those are the questions you ask. Where the signatory are with the United Nations people. But then how will Nation people take the money? One food program, money is with the one food program. How will Minister Tweah, how will the CDC government people, official, and no official ever did anything around money in the one food program? They go withdraw the money and go buy things. How? So I think there's a challenge with auditing the UN. And that's something that began, we broached that conversation. We had the Controller County General here. I mean, this man here, commission, worked with the audit of the payroll. The payroll audit, you hear them talking about it. Look, all the work of this government was done by President Weah. There is no substantive, there is no new area. The new area, the only new area I see for this administration is that way we solve wage problem. That was harmonization, that was payroll audit, all that ghosting, batting news, all that stuff. We solve all the problems. So you come in after us, it's like you can spend your best talent on that area now. Open new field. The field they have to open is how do businesses get loans in the country. That's why I tell you, don't push the people, don't pay there, don't get a free advice, don't go won't be there. But sometimes I come my petrol, they have home. They have to fight to see how Liberians get up the money and find job. Their challenge is not how to pay government on time. Their challenge is not harmonization. We took the heavy beating for all of that. The challenge is how does the private sector get more loan from banks? All the banks sending down the money, they only want import rice, they only want import oil. What does the Ministry of Finance do? We could not attend to that question sufficiently because we dealt with the macro stability for the first 1.5 years. Then we're here with COVID for 2 years. By the time we battled that, we called a judicial conference and then the post said election coming. Our second term was going to be around the full implementation of the jobs agenda. How do you have jobs? How was the thing? When Liberian people got confused with lie propaganda, we say, okay. And there's a reason. I tell my CDC people, y'all sit down. There's a reason. Do you know what would have happened in this country had we won the election and people come back? You know what? I've gone. Sit down. Let it come. Now the Liberian people see so they're going to get a solution. And since in 20 and we are doing the coffee up. Maybe we are get a solution. Now we're coming back, but we're not coming back in the 2017 agenda. The agenda is to solve the jobs problem. So agree on the solution. I thank you.